Welcome to another Adventures in Product Sourcing podcast, where Kenny Edwards and his guests share tidbits and insights gained from their adventures in finding and bringing great products to market. Heidi-ho, listeninos. I got a bright spirit today. What can I say? I want to talk about going to China. If you're going to source from China, you can certainly do a bunch of emails, and you can even place phone calls on Skype, or whatever you want to do to contact factories, have samples sent to you and stuff like that. I'll talk about all that in a different podcast. But if you go to China, it actually is going to pay off for you in a certain number of ways. And I just sort of want to go through this with you to spur your thinking. There are two really, well, I wouldn't call them shows. There's the big Canton Fair that happens down in Guangzhou, which is right above Hong Kong, and that happens twice a year. So by going to China, you have a chance to go to Canton Fair in April or October and take a look around and sort of get a feel for the kind of products and manufacturing that's available to you. If all you have to do is place an order. So that's one thing, and go visit Canton. The other thing is not really a fair. It's more of a giant building with like 70,000 vendors in it that's at Yiwu, which is near or just south of Shanghai, a little ways. So if you wanted to actually compare a lot of suppliers at one time, you could go to Yiwu pretty much any time of the year except maybe Chinese New Year and check around and maybe have an agent help you or something. Go in and say, I want this kind of product, and then find several suppliers right there, pretty much any time of the year, except Chinese New Year. So there's two good reasons to go to China right there. The other thing I want to talk about has to do with your relationship with your suppliers. Now, if you show up in China and actually see these people and go up and shake their hand, say ni hao or hello or however you want to address them, they're going to have more respect for you right off the bat. Way more respect than somebody that all they ever hear from them is an email request from the United States, because they can't really judge who you are from an email. I mean, you can sound pompous in the email, but quite frankly, we all know lots of emails that we get where people sound pompous and big, and really there's nothing behind them. But if you actually lay down the dough and get on a plane and fly 14 to 16 hours to get to your destination, and then get there and actually go into talk to a supplier, they're going to have way more respect for you than somebody they just got an email from. You're going to seem more real to them. Like, hey, we might actually be able to make a deal. These people are serious. It also gives you a chance to negotiate face-to-face. In this world of electronic communications, we're sort of getting out of this face-to-face stuff. It worked great back in the 1900s, where you could go out, shake hands, kiss babies, pet puppies, and negotiate directly with the other person and form a business relationship. So by actually being there, you can actually meet the boss of the factory, and they'll take you out to a banquet. And you can negotiate with them and also see the factory while you're there and get a feel for whether or not they're a big company or if they're faking it. It's very difficult to do that remotely by email. So that leads me on to the next thing I want to talk about, which is inspecting factories. Factories come in all shapes and sizes, in all conditions. If you're ordering a high-tech product and you go to a factory that's dusty, dirty, it's pretty much open to the elements on the sides. It's basically a place with concrete walls and a tin roof. You might not want to order a high-tech product from that factory because they're probably running on the skinny. They're not actually investing the money into producing a high-tech product, but they're trying to. And so their quality control may not be there. But by seeing the factory, you can make that kind of judgment. The other thing is, this is my personal thing, is I want to see what kind of conditions the workers are working in. Just because I'm in America and I'm used to standard living here doesn't mean that I expect everybody in China who's working to have that kind of standard of living. But I do expect the workers to have some sort of basic treatment that is not abusive to them, that allows them to work. Wow, that sounds really weird. Basically, I want to make sure the workers are not being abused. And by actually seeing it in the factory, it gives a little bit more credence that this is a real company who values their workforce. And it's not just churning workers, bringing them in, working them to death, and then spitting them back out. I feel better about that if I see them at the factory. And hey, while you're in China, why not have some fun? You can go there just for a business trip, and get a free banquet from a factory and stuff like that. Or you can actually add in a little bit of sightseeing. Now, Beijing is fantastic. Going up to the Great Wall is the experience I really thought it was going to be. I mean, I would love to go back to the Great Wall. There's palaces and big temples and stuff all over the place. So mix in a little bit of sightseeing. Take a day out of your schedule and just spend that day sightseeing, and really don't do any work that day. So that's my suggestion. That's another reason to go. You can mix business and pleasure on a trip to China. And you're also going to get a better understanding of the people. By going and interacting with Chinese directly in China, you start to get a feel for Chinese culture. And understanding the background of people that you're dealing with, how they live, what they live in, how their daily lives operate. All those things give you a better understanding of them when it comes time to go to negotiations. And it really helps you to be able to build more of a relationship with them. I know it's sort of a fuzzy thing, but your pricing, your deliverability, your ability to get things in the factory are to a large part dependent upon the relationship you build with the people at the factory, especially your sales rep and the plant boss or the company owner. So that's why I think going to China is a good idea.